Coming up, what's next after the end of the longest government shutdown in history?
The University of Iowa Healthcare North Liberty campus looks to grow.
A different take on a classic holiday comes back to Iowa City.
Iowa football prepares for their most difficult road game of the season.
Spring in November, I'll have temperatures are rising well above average. I'll have your full forecast coming up.
The latest headlines and more
coming up right now on DITV.
Good morning from Iowa City. It is Friday, November 14th. I'm Liz Schultz.
And I'm Annika Perez.
And the third member of our team, Ken Emeritus, is live in North Liberty to tell us today's forecast.
Kenny, it's looking shockingly warmer outside today. How's the temperature?
Well, Liz and Annika, it's shockingly warm out this morning. Right now, it's 46 degrees. Thanksgiving is coming up and after Christmas spirit, but right now it's feeling more like Christmas in July. We're going to take a look back onto Iowa City. Later today, it's going to be near a record of 73 degrees this afternoon. The evening will cool down a little with a breeze and temps into the mid-60s. Those sunny skies will pop right out just in time to watch Hawkeyes play in an even warmer California temperature. I know I said it's going to be warm this weekend, but just hold on. Next week, things are getting back to the usual November groove. Sunday will be a high of 50 degrees, partially cloudy skies, and lows in the 30s. Monday, temperatures look to almost exactly copy and paste with a minor change in the rain this evening. Tuesday will get a chillier with a high of 48 and a low of 33 degrees. Wednesday, those same temperatures repeat. That's all I have for you for right now. Go back to the desk.
After 43 days, the government is finally back open. The Senate and House voted this week to reopen the government, and Wednesday night, President Trump signed the bill, sealing the deal. But things aren't quite back to normal.
The government is now reopened. Workers are getting back pay, and some as early as this weekend. Democrats say the shutdown was a reminder of how important steady government support is for families.
Millions of SNAP recipients across the country that, whose access to food stability was imperiled, and we have to figure out what that was for.
But Republicans argue the shutdown caused unnecessary harm, and President Trump says Democrats are to blame.
The Democrats tried to extort our country. This cost the country $1.5 trillion, this little excursion that they took us on.
State leaders say their priority now is getting paychecks out the door.
We did all of the administrative work that we needed to late last night to ensure that that payroll would be processed as soon as possible, and within the next coming days they will get that into their bank accounts.
Families are starting to get access to services again. And here in Iowa, officials are continuing to raise concerns about potential issues with SNAP benefits as things start to return to normal. They warn that November payments could be delayed while operations get back to normal, and many families remain anxious about the impact. Governor Kim Reynolds criticized Senate Democrats for using SNAP recipients as, quote, political leverage, saying that 131,000 Iowa households rely on the program. And on social media, she expressed gratitude to lawmakers for passing a continued resolution to reopen the government and saying that she's relieved federal operations can now resume. And with more than 267,000 Iowans currently on SNAP, the stakes are especially high, but we will continue to keep you updated as things return to normal. And Dubuque Street in Iowa City is closed starting today. Northbound traffic between Washington Street and Iowa Avenue will be closed due to construction. The northbound traffic on Gilbert Street will also change to one lane between Maiden Lane and Prentice Street. Normal traffic flow is expected to resume by the end of the day. Iowa City residents can also expect to see surveyors in a bright safety vest across town starting today, and a full map of the survey sites is shown here behind me. And the city is launching a major parking demand study at 12 locations from riverfront crossings to northside districts and other parts of town. Survey teams will track how parking is used to help shape future city planning. And a Johnson County survey predicts new housing will be needed. The Johnson County Board of Supervisors held a housing assessment presentation earlier this week. The assessment anticipates 950 new housing units will be needed within the next 10 years. Low land availability, water and sewer coverage, and limited transportation can prevent future construction. County leaders could invest more directly in non-metro area housing and work with smaller cities to reach the county's goals.
Girls on the Run of Eastern Iowa is closing after nearly 2 decades. The nonprofit has served local communities for 18 years. Leaders say long-term sustainability concerns led to the decision. The program has helped more than 11,000 girls and build confidence and healthy habits. The board of directors thanks families and volunteers, saying the impact of the program will last beyond the final season in December.
The Office of Sustainability has a unique solution to clear invasive plants: goats. The goats are stationed at Coralville's Coral Strip Trail in efforts to restore Iowa's nature prairie. The prairie habitat is important for native wildlife since less than 0.1% of the original landscape remains. Goats are a sustainable way for the land desirable plants to grow back. UI's Office of Sustainability and the Environment says the goats are effective at eating plants they don't want and letting plants they do want to grow. The goats are more cost-effective than human labor and also work faster.
Coralville will be seeing some renovations in the next few years. The plans for a newly renovated recreation center were approved after City Council meeting this week. A recent increase in sales tax will give the city the funds needed. The new rec center will find its home in place of where the current parking lot is, so the current rec center can stay open to the public. Penny production is finally over after more than 2 centuries. Earlier this year, President Donald Trump said it makes no sense to keep producing cents. On Wednesday, the U.S. Mint pressed the final pennies. However, today they are still legal to use in any transaction and won't go away. The Trump administration says producing them is, quote, wasteful and costing almost 4 times than they're worth.
The University of Iowa Hospitals and Clinics is looking to expand just after 7 months of opening. DITV's Jake Rios joins us live outside the new UIHC North Liberty campus. Jake, why is the hospital looking to expand so soon?
Well, guys, it turns out that the hospital has been receiving way more patients than they expected compared to when they first opened earlier this year. The new North Liberty location opened April 28th of this year and has already welcomed thousands of patients. UIHC is seeking Board of Regents approval to expand the new hospital. Construction will require around $19 to $25 million. The plan is to include 16 more operating rooms, including inpatient beds, imaging facilities, and staff support areas. The Board of Regents met on Wednesday at Iowa State University's campus, but the decision is still pending. If the decision is approved, construction will take place next year. Live from North Liberty, Jake Rios, DITV.
Coming up later, we've got a stacked look at Hawkeye athletics, from successes on the court to a trip out west for football.
And looking ahead, a unique performance at the Angler Theater, the Pope's favorites in entertainment, and a new docu-series that will never go out of style.
Stories occur every day, and here at DITV, we've got you covered with up-to-date news and politics.
We are anxiously waiting for those votes for not only the national election, but here in District 1.
Community members protest and stand for science.
Keeping highlights and scores with Hawkeye Sports.
Advancing to the quarterfinals, Iowa looks to boost their overall placement and their way into the semis.
It's Iowa's second road win of the season, first since September 21st.
And of course, all the latest in entertainment.
Sit back, relax, and here's the word on the street.
I'm here at the Alan McVeigh Theater, where a unique performance.
Here at DITV, we've got a crew bringing you all the stories from across the nation and right here in your backyard.
From the Iowa State Fair.
In Nashville, Tennessee.
From downtown Iowa City. From Carver Hawkeye Arena.
And bringing all the coverage straight to you live on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings. Around the University of Iowa and Iowa City community, we have the stories that matter to you here at DITV.
It is shockingly warm out today, right, Annika?
Oh, yeah.
We're going to send it out to Kenna, who has this rest of this week's forecast.
Well, Liz and Annika, it's shockingly warm out this morning. Right now it's 46 degrees. Thanksgiving is coming up and after Christmas spirit, but right now it feels more like Christmas in July. We're going to take a look back on Iowa City later today. It's going to be near a record high of 73 degrees this afternoon. This evening will be cooled down a little bit with a breeze and temperatures to the mid-60s. Those sunny skies will pop right out just in time to watch the Hawkeyes play in even warmer California temperatures. I know I said it's going to be warm this weekend, but just hold on. Next week we'll be going back to the usual November groove. Sunday will be a high of 50 degrees, partially cloudy skies, and lows in the 30s. Monday temperatures look to almost exactly copy and paste with minor changes of rain in the evening. Tuesday will get a little chillier with a high of 48 and a low of 33 degrees. Wednesday, those same temperatures repeat with a little bit more sun and breezy skies. Thursday, we'll see a high chance of showers in the upper 50s and slight increase in humidity. I have a little fun fact for your weather for y'all. The highest on a record temperatures in November in Iowa is 83 degrees in 1999. That is extremely high, a little too high for me. But Liz and Annika, I'll send it back to you at the desk.
That is very warm, 83 degrees, wow. But you know, I hear there's a big game this weekend, like she said, in even warmer weather, right, Cole?
And speaking of weather, it's actually going to be nicer here in Iowa City than in LA. It's another top 25 test for the 21st ranked Hawkeyes as they pay a visit to number 17 USC tomorrow afternoon. 6.5 points in LA Memorial Coliseum this weekend. While the Hawks weren't favored against Oregon either, this game is a little different, with most counting them out against USC, which is a spot that Iowa quarterback Mark Gronowski doesn't mind.
I don't mind being the hype, being the hunted. It was kind of good to hear that last week of everyone kind of having some confidence in us, and I think it's good to be flying under the radar a little bit heading into this one.
However, this is one of the most athletic teams in the nation. The offense has a terrific run game and impressive wide receivers, including Mekhi Lemon, who is the third most receiving yards in the country with 937. This is a game that Iowa's defense will need to have a lot of success in.
It takes just mental focus, high effort, intensity, and then, you just got to be locked in on your keys the whole game. You got to know what your alignment is, your keys are, and your responsibility, and then, that'll take itself from there.
But while the Hawkeyes are traveling out west to LA this week, their kid captain is coming with them. I had the opportunity to connect with this week's kid captain Blake Bonta and his father Justin to discuss Blake's journey. Blake was so thankful for what the Children's Hospital did for him that he decided to give back.
In the fall of 2022, the once usually excited Blake Bonta started struggling getting out of bed before school. Once at school, Blake started consistently throwing up, leading local doctors to diagnose his sickness as anxiety.
So we started homeschooling him, and then it got a little better. We were having a birthday party at the beginning of 2023 for him, and it was a swimming party, and he started complaining of a very bad headache in the back of his head.
Days later, Blake woke up and couldn't stand up straight. Blake was rushed to the local hospital where MRIs showed excess fluid and a large mass occupying Blake's brain and spinal cord.
And it showed that the tumors had spread to his spine as well. So he had tumors up and down his spinal cord and in his brain.
Blake was diagnosed with metastatic medulloblastoma, a malignant central nervous system cancer. Blake underwent 2 additional surgeries to remove excess brain fluid and a 12-hour surgery to remove the tumor. Following came radiation and 6 months of chemotherapy.
He's an absolute warrior for everything that he's been through. He couldn't reach and grab like a cub, or he had to learn how to walk again from the surgery.
After ringing the bell in 2023, Blake decided he wanted to give back to the Children's Hospital. The 12-year-old started 3 fundraisers and has since raised over $100,000 towards pediatric cancer research.
I don't want kids to spend as much time in the hospital that I did, so I really want to cure that, and that's my life goal too.
Blake is now in the 7th grade, and while he misses playing sports, he loves video games, Legos, and watching movies. From the University of Iowa, Cole Krieger, DITV Sports.
I would first like to thank the Bontas for making time to speak with me. Myself and everyone here at the Daily Iowan are wishing them safe travels to LA this weekend. You can read the rest of Blake's story on the UIHC website. Jan Jensen led her squad in the Carver Hawkeye Arena once again last night, except this time, one of her players is facing a familiar foe. DITV's Cart Smith has the story of the battle of the McCabe sisters.
As Iowa and Drake were taking the court of Carver Hawkeye Arena last night, 2 sisters were prepping to face off. One, a star for the Hawks. The other, just trying to make her way in the Bulldogs depth chart.
I think it's amazing, because they're both going and representing their institutions in phenomenal ways.
Older sister Taylor started things off hot, while Peyton and the Bulldogs struggled to find their offense. The sisters clashed early and often, being tasked with guarding each other throughout the first half.
So it's always fun when you get to have sister matchups and really just friends.
Like any sibling, you want the bragging rights.
Iowa had the lead after the half, so it was Peyton's job to lead a comeback and Taylor's job to do all she can to prevent one.
But Taylor McCabe is as competitive as they come, and you can be sure that she wanted to do nothing more than to beat her sister.
They both filled up the stat sheets, with Peyton scoring 10 points, 1 assist, and 2 rebounds, and Taylor scoring 6 points, 5 assists, and grabbing 5 rebounds of her own. In the end, the Hawks bested the Bulldogs, and the sisters shared a warm embrace. The scoreboard may have gone Taylor's way, but who had the better game? Well, that can be left up for them to decide at Thanksgiving dinner. From Carver Hawkeye Arena, Karch Smith, DITV Sports.
And although Iowa basketball has been smooth sailing, the men's team will face their first challenge of the season tonight against Xavier. It'll be a battle of first-year head coaches between Iowa's Ben McCollum and Xavier's Richard Pitino, whose team started off 2-1 this season, taking its first loss last week against Santa Clara. McCollum has emphasized the importance of rebounding and possession in Iowa's past 2 games. Xavier is strong with the boards, making rebounds a prime key point to this matchup. This is Iowa's first chance to prove themselves as a new team and how they can handle against tough opponents. And Thursday night, the Iowa women's volleyball team took on Northwestern in a classic 5-set thriller. DITV's Morgan Burhans has the story.
The Iowa volleyball team entered their match against Northwestern at an even 500. In order to advance to a winning record, the Hawks would have to pull off a huge victory against the 15-11 Wildcats.
After not beating Northwestern since 2019, Iowa secured a massive win right here on home court.
In the first set, the Hawks had a flaming hot start led by kills from Alyssa Warden. Even when Northwestern attempted to respond, Iowa held on to their momentum, winning the first set 25-10 after a monstrous kill from Hannah Whittingstall.
The first set, we kind of just came out fiery.
The next 2 sets did not go Iowa's way, and suddenly the Hawks were trailing the match 1-2 after the third set.
We let them back in it. Should have won the third set, let them back in it.
But the Hawks have been in this position many times throughout this season and knew exactly how to get a ticket to the rally train.
It was who was going to give up first, and we just weren't going to give up.
Iowa stayed strong defensively in the 5th set and never let go, winning game point from a Carmel Veras tip over the net.
We had different people rise up to the occasion to help us at different times.
One of those players being setter Claire Amaral, who led the Hawks to a 5-set win by tallying an incredible triple-double.
That's super exciting. It feels really good.
Claire, really controlled the match for us.
The Hawkeyes will look to use this momentum against number 20 Minnesota on Sunday. From Iowa City, Morgan Burhans, DITV Sports.
Iowa Soccer will play their first round NCAA tournament game this evening at the Iowa Soccer Complex. Iowa will take on South Dakota State. The Hawks are listed as the 5 seed in their region. This is Iowa's 3rd consecutive year hosting a first round matchup. For the Jackrabbits, they're coming off winning a 3rd straight Summit League tournament title. Tonight's game will be on ESPN Plus with kickoff at 5 p.m. Iowa men's wrestling is in their own early season tournament. They travel to Tulsa, Oklahoma for the national duels. This tournament is constructed as a true duel, with the winning team advancing to the next round. The Hawks first will take on Missouri Saturday morning with a $1 million purse on the line.
You certainly don't wrestle for money. There's money to be made if you're at the very, very best, but you don't do it for that. It's a self-satisfaction that's first, but with the purse, that's why we're here.
Iowa sending 14 wrestlers to the national duels, and competition will finish up Sunday at 6 p.m. The team will be sending others to the Luther Hill Open with the competition tomorrow as well. This is an all-day event taking place in Decorah, Iowa. Like soccer, though, field hockey begins their NCAA tournament quest today. They face off against the Duke Blue Devils in the Sweet 16. Iowa's last appearance, they got shut out in the Big Ten championship game against the defending national champions, the Northwestern Wildcats. If Iowa gets by Duke, they'll see the winner of St. Joseph and top seed in North Carolina on Sunday.
Sounds like it's going to be a really exciting week for sports, but an even more exciting week for things going on in Iowa City. We'll send it over to Grace Lathrop with the Vibe.
Welcome back to another segment of The Vibe, where I'm here to give you your full entertainment and arts rundown. Now, Thanksgiving is right around the corner, and the Angler came up with a creative and unique idea of how to celebrate this holiday while spreading cultural awareness about stereotypes. We have DITV's Kibeti Mutumba live outside in the Angler to give us the full story.
Thanks, Grace. That's absolutely right. Truthsgiving is back at the Angler Theater for its 9th year. The Great Plains Action Society has a California musical act, Audio Pharmacy, lined up, including several other speakers for Saturday night, including the University of Iowa's Native American Student Association. Now, the question is, why Truthsgiving instead of Thanksgiving? This is the time of year where many of us get ready to gather around the table, enjoy a meal, and give thanks with our families. And that stems from the story that many of us heard growing up about the Wampanoag and the Pilgrims getting together in 1621 as part of the harvest to share a meal. And then after that, in 1863, President Abraham Lincoln declared Thanksgiving a national holiday after the Gettysburg Address to promote peace. But the Great Plains Action Society says that that's the whitewashed version of history, a version of history that harms indigenous peoples and their lands and oppressed peoples across the Americas. Now, indigenous peoples have been protesting the traditional holiday of Thanksgiving since about the 70s, and the Great Plains Action Society says that their event stemmed from family gatherings here and has expanded to tomorrow night, where you'll hear the true story of history according to them. And that starts at $10 for adults. It's free for students and children. You can find those on Angler's website. It's, again, here 7:30 p.m. at the Angler Theater. It's sure to be a night of reflection and even maybe discovery for some of us. I'll send it back to you, Grace, in the studio.
Now, considering I spent the whole summer at the Vatican, I feel it's important to mention a special statement that Pope Leo made this week. This coming Saturday, big names from the film world, including Cate Blanchett and Spike Lee, are coming to the Vatican, so the Pope thought it to only be fitting to announce some of his favorite films. All 4 of the films he spoke of were released in the 20th century, starting with It's a Wonderful Life from 1946. Next, the Pope chose another classic, the 1965 hit musical, The Sound of Music. He followed with the film Ordinary People, directed by Robert Redford and released in 1980. Finally, Pope Leo shared his love for the film Life is Beautiful from 1997. Personally, I see a common theme with all of these choices, and I can't say I'm too surprised with Pope Leo's taste. And Taylor Swift is returning to our screens with another highly anticipated docuseries. This time, she will walk us through her day-to-day dynamic while traveling the world in a new 6-episode docuseries about her Eras Tour. Fans can also expect to learn more about her relationship with now fiancé Travis Kelce, along with seeing guest performers on her Eras Tour like Gracie Abrams, Ed Sheeran, and Sabrina Carpenter. Fans can watch this docuseries on Disney Plus starting on December 12th. Swifties, get ready to learn more about the life of the one and only showgirl. And the highly anticipated film Wicked for Good is coming out in just a few weeks, but let's take a trip back down the yellow brick road all the way to 1939 when the original Wizard of Oz film was released. The iconic black hat worn by the Wicked Witch in the movie is up for auction and is expected to sell for more than $3 million. Yes, you heard correctly, $3 million for one of the most iconic props of all time. The hat was worn by actress Margaret Hamilton, and bidding will start at $100,000. This wickedly fashionable accessory is made of black wool and has a wide brim reinforced with a metal hoop. The auction will take place on December 9th, hosted by the Heritage Auctions. And that is it for this week's The Vibe. We will see you next Friday for more arts and entertainment news. But for now, I'll send it back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us online or anytime on KRUI 89.7 FM.
We are here live from Iowa City all week.
From all of us here at DITV, thank you for spending Friday morning with us. We'll see you again on Monday morning right here on DITV.